Hi and surprise! I'm Debbie with studiomdaz, and I've been promising for about 4 days that I would do a tutorial on how to make pincushions. Now, I have made probably 25 or 30 pincushions in the last month. However, I sold them all in an auction that I had a few weeks ago, so I don't have anything to show you. So I'm just going to start from scratch and show you exactly how to make these. You can use, and I will post tons of pictures after this is over, but you can use vintage head vases. We've made a bunch of those. I did a Marilyn, a Hedy Lamarr. Hi Patricia, hi everybody. This is gonna be a quick one. We've got family arriving at the airport at 2:25 my time. And it is 1:05 now, so I'm going to do this pretty quick, but I want to show you exactly how I did these fun pin cushions. So let's start with the easy ones. And by the way, everything I'm using I got on Amazon, eBay for the vintage head vases, or Hobby Lobby, or any craft store. So, all right, first let's talk about super easy. How can I do it if I don't have like a lot of, I don't know, lack of better word, talent, creative talent? What's the easiest way to do these? The easiest way is to buy these little colored jars, and I will have all of the supplies. I'll do all the links and everything for you as soon as I'm done also. So while I'm in my car on the way to the airport, no, I won't because I'm driving. But sometime today I will have a full supply list, I promise. But, so what I did is I bought these darling little colored jars on Amazon. I think you get 10 or 12, all different colors. And so I thought that was super fun to be able to use all these different colors. And then on Amazon, you can buy a case of these little tiny sewing kits. Just tons of stuff. I want to say tons of crap but it really isn't. Like for somebody that doesn't do a lot of sewing, if I could have everything I need in one little jar, I'm so happy. So I got everybody a little sewing kit, got everybody a tape measure, bought them in bulk on Amazon, and then everybody gets a little box of colored pins. But I went a step further and I made sure, hold on, I got to get these back in right, because that one is a little high, but there we go. Okay, so there you go. So I'm ready to go, but it needs a pin cushion. So I wasn't really sure how to make a pin cushion, although I have a few pin cushions. Like this is one that my mom made. It's super simple. Look at the bottom. So we're gonna make one of these so that you know how to do your own. However, I purchased all mine because that's how I roll. I really don't have the wherewithal nor the desire to sit and make these. But if you do, and if you want to save a whole bunch of money, make your own. Because I purchased these. They're all on Amazon, and I've already cut this one. They are they're wrist pin cushions. And they're beautiful, and they're already done. So that's what I did. However, they are anywhere from $5.99 to like $9.99 a piece. And I thought, yeah, not everybody wants to do that, including me. So we're going to use one of these, and then we're also going to make our own. So look how fun. So that's your pin cushion, but I love it. I love it on top of the blue. So this is what I did. I cut off the little elastic, but I saved the elastic because we're crafters and we're hoarders, and that's what we do. We save everything. So I saved that. Okay, and then I used a little bit of tacky glue and a little bit of hot glue. Here's what I found. I sent one of these to one of my friends in Texas, and when she got it, this had popped off because I'd only used hot glue, and this time of year, the hot glue will come off somehow. So that's what I glue it on with. But before I do that, I want to get this part right here decorated. Oh, for crying out loud. I grabbed everything except this stuff. So hold on, let me just grab it. It's right here. So I use these rhinestone sheets that you can get on Amazon. You get a whole sheet of them, and they are adhesive. I got to get a longer one. They're adhesive, and they're amazing. Look, you get a whole sheet of them. Now I bought the big sheet, but they also come in smaller sheets. So this is a big sheet that I buy because I want a lot of space. You made these and used old teacups. Yes, we have done that too, and I love, love, love that look. So good for you to do that, because that's probably the easiest. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna kind of wing it. This one. We want to cover it. I'm going to do about 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 6. Okay. I'm going to take that part off. I just want to be able to see what I'm cutting. So this stuff cuts so nice. It's adhesive, so it couldn't be easier. And these little jars go so fast. And they are incredible gifts. So also, I sold a whole bunch of these, probably 15 or more, at my auction a few weeks ago. And I asked $25 a piece, and I got it in multiples every time. So when you're willing to put some effort into these to really jazz them up, that you can get some money for them. So then I'm just going to wrap it right around here. Let me take that down so I can see what I'm doing also. Get it right on there. And you might want it more, you know, country, whimsical. Maybe you're not into bling. I don't know how we're friends, but maybe you're not. It's okay. We're not judging. Okay, so then I did that. Cut that off, make sure I'm right on it. Okay, all of a sudden, wow, okay, that just took that up a notch. And then, I only grabbed, hold on, everything's right here. I was so beyond prepared for this, I'm not even kidding. I was sure I was prepared, but okay, that's okay. So, here's the other thing I did. Then I'm grabbing this blank, and you don't have to use all this, but this is how I roll, how I love to do this. Yes, I'm always going to buy, trust me. Now with this, you could do one under if you want, just to make it even better, but I'm not going to do that. But I do want to decorate the pin cushion. Why? Just because we can. That is the answer, always. Why would you do that? Why do you need to do that? Because we can. And because everything we do, we want to take it up just a notch. So we're going to grab some B7000, and I'm just going to do a little line of the glue, and it does dry clear. So you don't need to worry about that. Dry clear, but you want the precision point so it's easy, you know. So that, I mean, you know, you don't want to risk getting anything on anything. Okay. So now look at the difference. Yeah, because that's what we do. We're going to take it up a notch. We're not just going to let it go the way it is, because we are extra people. We're not ordinary people. We're extras. I mean, this is it. This is how easy. So I went around the whole thing. All right, so you're going to go around the whole thing doing that. I'm not going to bore you with doing that right now. Let me get that on. So here's what I want you to see. This is how, the velvets are the most expensive. This is how they come. Look, you've got green, you've got black, every color imaginable, but they're beautiful. And so what I do is where the yellow thread is, and they all come with the yellow thread, where the yellow thread is, I take bling trim from Amazon, and then I take some other sparkles from Amazon, And that is now my pin cushion. This is everybody else's pin cushion, but this is our pin cushion. And then with these, you can buy any color pins. I love the black and white if I'm gonna do something like this. And they also have, they come just like this, and these aren't very expensive. You can get all these pins just like this, all different colors. But these are the really nice pearl ones. But again, we're not gonna stop there. And like in this case, I'm using black and gold. All of my metals are gold. So, I'm gonna go to my little bead box, and it is little, very little, because I don't do a lot of beading. But I'm gonna go to my little bead box, and I'm going to, now I didn't do this on mine because I didn't think about it, and I didn't have my bead box with me in California. But I'm gonna go ahead and add some other beads to this one. Hold on, where is the center? There it is. I'm gonna add some beads to this one because I want this to be spectacular. Look at these. So I can make any kind of bead I want, which is going to give me an incredible little pin cushion. Let's see. Okay, this is funny. I can even do this. Can I do this? Nope, I thought those were beads. They're not. All right, so let's make this just simple, elegant. Okay, so now this is my pin that somebody's gonna get. And then I just added a little bit of the B7000, and I just kind of squeezed it all the way down in. Because the only one you've really got to worry about holding is this last one. The rest will hold. Are you shocked that I can see this? Because I really can't. Oh my gosh, look at how many of you guys are here already. That is so fun. Apparently, maybe I should just go, you know, rogue all the time and never tell anybody when I'm going live, because it seems to work just as well. And then just a touch of hot glue. Let that dry just for a second. And then I use one of these. You don't need this, but I just use a little bit of something like this. This is a little silicone thing. Do you see that? And all I do is just make sure that that hot glue is down. And now when I put this, I mean, oh, I didn't let that dry enough yet. Hold on. Let me make sure that's dry. And then I would do, you know, just all the same color. You just happen to be online, Pam. Or you can also throw in some black. I put all these in little containers, so that's why I'm not worried about opening this way. So anyway, that to me is an incredible pin cushion. Once you get all your little beads on, so fun to make. You make these pins while you watch your husband bowl. People talk about it? Okay, that's funny. But how fun is that to get to use up? I know you guys have tons of supplies like I do. Start using up all your stuff. Seriously, start using up all your stuff. Now, if you get these velvet ones that you buy that are the wrist, look at how they're made, okay? Because they're made to sit on your wrist, so they're not flat. So if you're gonna put these on this, they look terrible. So don't do that. What you want, if you're gonna do the flat little jars, you need a flat pin cushion. So all of these, even though they are wrist, they are for your wrist. Let me open this up and show you. These, I believe, are $5.99 on Amazon. Like I said, if you don't want to make your own, but we're going to make one just so you can see how to do it. Shopping in your stash this year. Remember last year, Viv, I said I was going to do that too, and I did it for about three days. These are flat, and they work perfect. So just know, look at your pin cushions. If they've got like this big old thing on the bottom, they're not going to sit right. If they don't, if they just have like a sweet little piece of elastic, they'll be great. So you can see we've already started that. And the last thing I would do on this is, this is some of my little jewels. I mean, these aren't my good ones, but they're just, okay. So then the last thing I would probably do on this, if that was silver, not gold, because I'm weird, I will not mix my metals. Even like on my body, I won't mix. I don't know, it just makes me crazy. Well, you could also do something like this. So anyway, get some kind of a vintage something on the center instead of that. That's not good enough. That's not how we roll. And then you're gonna take the same thing, do some more beads if you want. Look at this, is so, these are so fun. So hold on, here's what you could do. Get these, let's see, we're using silver, and you're gonna want spacers. These are those little spacers, and they're all little diamond spacers. So you need a spacer, and then look, the blue and white toile beads with the yellow on top. I say yes, I say yes, I say yes. And then maybe a really pretty, just some kind of a blue bead on the bottom. Okay, look at that. All right, let's do the same thing. Let's hit it with a little B7000. I know, I like the yellow one too. Isn't it just so fun and happy? So I'm just squeezing a little bit of that in and then applying a tiny bit of hot glue. I'm spinning the pin, and then I'm gonna take whatever I have. I don't care if it's I mean, it could be anything, just a little craft stick, and make sure you push everything down all the way. And then I just make sure that I've got that hot glue where it's not getting funky, which it kind of did on that one. So let me take some of that. Let me take all that off. All right, hold on. That one got a little weird. It just needs a dab. I should be using it. If you had a tiny little glue gun, that would work so much better right now. Okay, and then I just spin it. There we go. And just give yourself like a little hot glue bubble at the bottom. Let that dry for a second. Super cute. And then let me go ahead and glue this one in, just barely. Just gonna stick it on so it doesn't fall off. And then you're going to take, let me see. I'm not gonna do the B7000 on this, but I am gonna do the tacky glue on this. And Tracy. Okay, so then I need to get some tacky glue for the long hold and hot glue for our temporary hold, okay? But if you only do hot glue, my friend Viv will tell you that it might pop off. So make sure you do both. You have a minute to make sure it's on. Oh, so cute. All right, let me move this. And then, and don't be stingy. Don't be stingy. I gave, when I sold these at my auction, I put in a ton of pins, like these nice big pins. I didn't have the beads at the time, but what an incredible gift that is. And, oopsie, hold on. Glue is just my nemesis right now. If you want to hide this opening right here, which, yes, please, I do. I don't really care for it open like that. So what I did, and anybody who's got one will see that if you do, look at that. If you do another row right around there, okay, come on. That, my friends, is an incredible gift. And even if you don't put anything inside, like I did, even if you don't put any of the tchotchke stuff inside, just, so I've got pins, the tape measure, and a little sewing kit. This, with some incredible beads on your pins, could be so inexpensive. This is probably, well, with the pin cushion, if you buy the pin cushion, which, let me just say, somebody already did it and did a great job at it. I'm going to go ahead and go with the purchased ones. But like I said, I'm going to show you how to do your own. You know, you've got about a $10, I would say, with the purchased one. This is, I don't know, maybe $10, $12. But this is something that nobody's going to forget and they're going to keep all the time because it's fabulous. So, okay, so that's the easiest way to do the pin cushions, just like that. Or, let me see, they are also this kind. So these are also on Amazon if you want your people to see through. And I did the same thing. You can see I've got all the kits. The kits come in all different colors. So these come just wood. These come like a plain light wood top. And all I did was put a coat of paint on it. So, because I just didn't really want it to be the wood color. And then I decoupaged. So, look how fun. The small white boa from Christmas for that space. Yeah. Oh, that's my husband. He just got home. You all right, Bill? You okay?
Yeah, I dropped everything.
Okay. Okay. Decoupage. So you could do whatever you want. And then you would go with, well, let's just say, I don't like these together, so I'm not suggesting you do this. But then you could also do some kind of a pin cushion on top of that. Or on some of them, I, of course, did black and white check around here. And I actually did the whole top. And then it doesn't matter what color you put on it. If you do black and white check with the hot pink, so cute. I know, oopsie Bill. So cute. So great idea. These are my favorite. The little polka dots are my favorite. Again, I will make sure I have all the links for everything. So this is just a different type of jar, but the black and white check on this would be so cute. And then the pink. So I'll make one of these ASAP and get that posted too. So those are the two easiest way to do it. Now, Keenan, one of my ladies sent me another alternative to that. And so I'm going to show you two ways to do your own, which I'm not thrilled about because I would never do this, and I always swear I'm never going to make you guys do anything that I wouldn't do. But for those of you that sew, you're going to want to do this. You're going to want to do this. Okay, apparently I'm obsessed with polka dot fabric. So I need to make a pin cushion that's going to be big enough to go on the top of this. So I need to make something that's going to be bigger, obviously, than this, but it doesn't have to be a ton bigger, but a little bigger. I'm going to flip it over so I can make sure I can see my lines. So I'm just going to flip it over and draw a line, and then we're going to cut this out. Sure. Believe me, today I don't have time, but you guys know if I promise I'm going to do something, it bugs the crap out of me until I do it. And so I knew I wasn't going to get through today feeling comfortable, like being out and about, until I got this done. So that's why I would have done it at like 1 o'clock this morning because I was, awake. Okay, let me get my good scissors, which I always say is such an oxymoron at my house, but I do have a few good pairs. And I don't need to be exact. I'm just going to cut around this. Do you hear how great these scissors are? These are Tim Holtz. One of my ladies sent these to me, and Mom tried to touch them yesterday and use them for opening up plastic, and I went, oh, Mom. So it's usually she's the one yelling at me about messing up her scissors. All right, don't get excited because you have to be a professional to do this. But yes, I'm going to sew a little bit here. Hand sew, hand stitch. So, but I also need, I need a couple of things inside of my pin cushion to make it more sturdy. So I'm going to give myself, pencil. Are you guys, okay, good. Shayna, I'm so happy to know that it's everybody because I just, if I promise it, I feel like, I mean, my worst thing in life is disappointing people, honestly, because my parents both knew all they had to say, you could spank me till the cows come home and I'm probably going to do it again. But if you tell me you're disappointed in me, then that cuts so deep into my soul that I can't function. So, okay, and now we're going to cut these out. And again, you can go a little bit bigger if you need to. But on that second one, I'm going to go quite a bit bigger, and I'll show you why. Well, I mean at least a little bit bigger than this. So this is a great option, like I said, that Keenan, one of my ladies, found for me. That I think if you just want to cut your own and you're not going to spend that kind of money, which I don't blame you, if you know how to do stuff, then do this. Okay, so now we have our 3 circles. Why do we need 3 circles, you ask? Well, we are also going to cut out cardboard so that we can make this not flimsy like this. So look at this one. I mean, come on. This I took out of a teacup. So we had put these in the teacups. I took it out of the teacup. There's no, what's the word? Like there's no reinforcement or anything on it. So if I put this on, look, that's what it's going to look like. And I'm okay with that if you're okay with it. And when you glue it down, but it just doesn't have a lot of quality to it, to me. So, but for a teacup, you don't need all this stuff. You can just do this, and we'll go over that in a second. So now I need a piece of cardboard to make this pin cushion a little bit sturdier. And I'm actually going to use 2 of them, believe it or not. I'm just using a piece of cardboard, and this cardboard's actually probably way too thick, but it's okay. Oh, look at me, look at me. You getting ready to use my good scissors on this. Mom would have been very sad. Kathy Cortez, I'm so glad. Like I said, this has been on my list of things to do since Saturday after my studio show when I told you guys I would do it. And we've just been so busy. We're going on vacation Saturday. Bill's daughter and her husband are flying in about an hour and a half, and we're picking them up and they're staying here. So I ran around the house, cleaned everything up, made sure the guest room was ready, changed towels, you know, did all the things. Used my hand to dust because I didn't have time to grab anything to really dust. I just pray that nobody sees my handprints. This is the first time they've ever been to our home. Okay, so then, okay, with this one, hold on, why did I cut out 2? I don't know that I needed 2. I don't know that I needed 2 of those. I'm not sure why I did, but maybe I'll remember in a second. Okay, so this is now what I need to make all of this fiber fill, which you need a whole lot more than you think you need. So I'm using this fiber fill. I don't recommend it. I recommend foam. So do you know just regular foam that you can get at the craft store? Probably you have some, but because this is what I have, I'm using what I have because you can just take an old pillow and get all the crap out of it and use this. Okay, so here's what we did. Here's what I'm doing. And then I put this on top. So that is going to give my bottom a little bit of, you know, stability. All right, and so where is my needle and thread? I have so much stuff right here. Just hold on. It's right here. I just have to see it with my eyeballs. Does anybody see it? This is the problem. Oh, here it is. Praise God. Okay, so I've already, oh man, I was gonna say, I've already threaded the needle because I didn't want you guys to see how long it took me to do it. And then the thread just got caught on something and pulled out of my needle. Every day it's something. All right, let's see if I can do it again and if I can do it before dinner time for everybody. This in itself is a joke. Oh, hold on. Did I get that through on the first try? That will never happen again. That will never, ever, ever happen again. I am sure of it. So, okay, and now I want you to pull this fabric as tight as you can, up and around, and I'm just gonna start. So I'm just gonna do a regular stitch, just a regular running stitch. Oh, I know some of you are so proud of me right now for doing this, but I'm just doing a regular running stitch. And I already knotted the end because all we're trying to do is just pull this together and have it hold. And my stitch isn't, you know, it isn't very good or anything because it doesn't have to be. Nobody's going to see this. This is just to get all of this fiber fill to stay inside. My mom didn't even know I was going live today. I didn't tell her because she was having lunch with a friend. So I really didn't want her to worry about it. Okay, let me see. A running stitch, I just use one, like a single thread. Again, we're gonna glue all this down. Nobody's gonna see this. And so it doesn't have to be great. I won't forget the cardboard, but I'm just gonna go around it right now. And I really didn't even need to put the fiber fill in the middle yet. I'm just, because once I pull all of this together, everything will make sense. You see what I'm saying? For the record, I did not practice this. This is the first time I'm doing this ever. I was gonna do all this yesterday when my mom was here because I figured, oh, mom will just do it all for me. And I didn't tell my moderators either, that is true, because this was just literally impromptu. I just thought I've got to get this done and I'm just gonna do it right now. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and get my cardboard in and make sure. I know for those of you that are in my private group that know I don't sew, I don't do any of this stuff ever. It is a little impressive, I think. Okay, all right, keep going. Like I said, just keep kind of making sure you've got all your insides in there so that when we pull it, we're gonna pull everything. I think Mom will be so proud of me, won't she? Okay, so let's do, oh shoot, okay, hold on. I didn't pull it, I sewed it before I pulled it, but that's okay. We're going to pull a couple different ways now, and we're just gonna kind of go across. I did not pull it as tight as I should have before I like covered it up. So just know that don't stop using your running stitch until you've got it all the way around and you've pulled it as tight as you possibly can, because I'm having to go across the cardboard to get it all super firm, because you want this really firm. You see, I'm just pulling it as tight as I can. It started out so good. I don't know what I did wrong, but I got to the end before I should have. But what's amazing, it's still gonna work. How, I don't know, but everything always just seems to end up working somehow. You don't have to have the cardboard, but I think the cardboard is what helps stabilize it so much better. So if you can do the cardboard, do the cardboard. But if you're gonna do a head vase, like I'm gonna show you how to do, I don't know that I would use the cardboard. I think I would just do it without. Okay, it should look a lot prettier than this, but you guys get the gist. And then I'm gonna bring it over here. So all I'm doing is just trying to pull this as tight as I can. Thank you for the heart, you guys, because even though I didn't do it completely perfect, it is still gonna work out. Ah, all right, that's not gonna work out because I just broke that. So hold on, I'm gonna have to hot glue this in. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna sew it, and you're gonna sew it right, but my thread was too thin. Okay, I'm just hot gluing just to keep it in place because everything else will keep it in place also. Okay, so that was our first piece of cardboard. Staple gun would have been great. Yeah, that would have been work. That would have worked too. Okay, close enough, but there's what we've got. Don't worry about the shape because it's not that great. Here's what I want you to do with your next piece. Where'd that other piece go? Didn't I have two pieces? Hold on. Here it is. Okay, this is our bigger piece. So here's what you're gonna do for this piece. I want you to just cut little strips, okay? Don't break my thread. Sheila, too late, I already did. Pulled it too tight. So that's why we do this, so you guys don't do the stupid mistakes that I do. All right, so I'm just cutting, look, this is it. Just cutting little strips in this, because this second piece of cardboard is to give you even more stability, and it's going to lay so much nicer. Okay, so now I'm gonna do this, lay it down in my little fabric circle, and now I can just use a little bit of hot glue. And all I need to do is bring all these little, look, all these little things up and around. This has got to be a little impressive for some of you who know me well. It's a little impressive. Just be careful. I have my glue gun on low. Once I turn my glue gun to low heat, I have been honestly so much happier. Because even if you get a little bit on you, now look, how great is that? But wait till you see what we're gonna do with it. How wide are the strips? Oh, minuscule. I mean, this is, you see how fast I'm doing this. Because your strips are gonna be based on, you know, the size of your little cardboard, which your cardboard is determined by the size of your lid, because you want it exact, or as close to exact as you can. Okay, so again, this is just cardboard. So now I have a nice little base on this. So even though my thing is it's a little jacked up, look at this. I'm going to put this on here, and it's going to pull my shape together and make me look like a professional. Let's just hold it just for a second. So, yeah, I thought this was a great option. I was going to do it, when I showed you guys, I was going to do it like this because I was like, oh, well, that's just as easy, and that's just foam. But honestly, that's not proper. Size is very important. That's not proper unless you're doing a teacup. It is so perfect for a teacup. Okay, and now, okay, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. So now I have a pin cushion. Look at that. So now I have a nice little pin cushion, and I could still make it look like this, you know, with all the quilting and everything by using smaller, look, just use a little smaller piece of cardboard, top and bottom, glue your string as tight as you can, and you're gonna do that before you do this bottom piece, and then you can have that little quilted look also. You're welcome. So that's what would go there. I would glue it, and then I would do all the stuff I did with this. You're gonna do your bling and everything else, and it's gonna look great. But look how good this is right now for my head vase. So this is perfect for my head vase. By the way, this is not a vintage head vase. It's a head vase that I got on eBay. I bought a Marilyn, and then it came with a Marilyn, 2 Hedy Lamars, and then this one. She was the least attractive of all of them, so that's why I hadn't done her yet for my auction. But she was perfect for me to figure out how I wanted to do it. When I post pictures of my Marilyn and the Hedy Lamars that I did, I think you'll be a little impressed. So now this one, normally I wouldn't have the cardboard on these because you don't need it. This, look, this would be perfect to just stick in here, just like that. But I don't love that. So let's see if somehow I can get this in here without breaking anything. And I'm just gonna kind of, oh, I think I can. Hold on. I used the velvet ones in my other head vases because I was able to get them in. Oh my gosh, that did work. Okay, look, now I would glue it too, but I'm not going to because I still have to finish painting her. But if you want to do a head vase, or even some of those cute little planter vases that are on Amazon, look. And you could, again, do all the quilting with thread or string if you want. I would highly suggest string probably instead of thread for this. And again, I want you to look for foam, not polyfill. I don't think the polyfill's that great. It's all I had. But I would look for foam, you know. Okay, so then you can do your beautiful, all your beautiful pins, and go to your bead box and grab, let's see, what color do we have? Well, she doesn't have any bling on her yet. So let's go with gold. And I start with a spacer, and then a pearl, and any beads will work. Like, look at, let's see, there's a pearl, and then look at this. Let's go with this. I mean, yeah, you could do anything with these. You could do another spacer and a pearl. Beads are pretty cheap to get. I mean, you can get them at, you can get them at the craft stores. Frankly, I bought most of these on Temu last year because they were so inexpensive and I wanted a bunch of them. So just get them wherever you can. Maybe you have a ton of them. I hope you do. I had gotten rid of all mine. You know, it's the second I want to do a new craft, I go, oh yeah, that's that box of beads I gave my daughter 5 years ago when she was making bracelets. And I was like, oh, I will never need that again. So, but look, and then give her some beautiful pins. And then I would put bling on her. I mean, I'm gonna deck her out. I'll post a picture of her when I'm all done. But I mean, look how simple, look how cute, so easy to do, but don't stop with just a mushroom jar. Even though you can, if you were to take one of your mushroom jars, a pickle jar, any kind of your little jars, and do your pin cushion, or you buy one if you prefer. Look, this would work. And then wrap this in some beautiful decoupage or scrapbook paper, and then this on top. Okay, now you got something really fun, and you can still put all this little stuff in there for them. So if you just want to use what you've got, use what you've got. But if you're like me and you're like, no, I'd rather go out and buy it right now than go do that. But get the polka dot ones are my favorite. These are very nice, but you can see they're much smaller. And I think they need to fit. So, but if I'm doing smaller jars, then this is perfect. And you get 2 of them for, I want to say 2 of them for like $8. So that was a good price. So, ta-da! And I did it all. And now we have to go. But I will post pictures when I get a chance. I have already taken some pictures, but I'll post them. I think that doing the beads with your pins is the home run. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very quick, very, very quick tutorial on how to do fun little gifts and pin cushions. So everybody have a great rest of your day. studiomdaz. I'll see you guys Thursday with Mom. Mom will be with me, and we are going to do, let me show you what we're going to do so you'll come back. We are going to, so I bought these on Facebook Marketplace. I was looking, I said, okay, these are gorgeous. Look how bright and fun they are. But I want to make them more fun, and I want to paint my lamp to go with them. And I'm gonna paint this lamp super bold and different patterns and kind of crazy, but super whimsical and fun. So I'm going to show you, this is what we're going to be doing on Thursday, and I have a pair of these that I will then sell in my auction. But that's going to be spectacular. And then for my private group, I'm back Friday, and we are doing a huge pumpkin centerpiece floral that you don't want to miss. So, all right, I'll see you guys the rest of the week. Wish me luck today. And tomorrow is Wednesday's Women for my private group. Wednesday's Women for Diana Rutledge is going to be here in the house with me, and I'm going to interview her. So, you guys, if you're not in our group, just check it out. You can't believe all the fun stuff we do. So, all right, see you later. Bye.